On the Mexican Riviera, there are many kinds of uranium.
The Star of Iran was the ship that smuggled out the uranium.
The wreck was considered a curse, and nobody ever went near it.
But an underwater paradise hides a lethal secret.
Kill them all.
Now, the team must face a ring of ruthless terrorists.
Going in to find out what's going on down there.
How to recover deadly uranium. Turn up the heat on the next Acapulco Heat.
The Heat team was in a relaxed mode, never expecting that the famous underwater investigator John Harding was about to lead us into a dangerous diving mission.
Is that yours?
Sorry. I sailed right over my head.
Oh, no harm done.
Hey, Cat, we playing or what?
I'll be right there.
Boyfriend?
No.
Good. I'm John.
Nice to meet you, John.
Well, now you're supposed to say, hi, my name is ... Now, you're far too pretty to be nameless.
Cat. Nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
So what brings you to sunny Mexico?
Oh, the sun, beach, attractive women. 3 out of 3 so far.
Nice try.
Well, look, since we're partially engaged, how about you coming on a sunset sail with me?
Busy.
Breakfast beneath the palabras.
Still busy.
Lunch. Then, the grand tour of my boat.
Well, that I might try. What are you serving?
Catch of the day. Which gives me something to do for the rest of the morning.
Well, good for you. I'll see you later.
Wait a minute. How do I find you?
I'll find you. And then again, maybe I won't.
3 years ago, the Iranian freighter Star of Iran exploded and sank off the coast of Puerto Vallarta.
Sounds familiar.
You probably heard about it on TV like I did. Some old damaged boiler blew up, didn't it?
Well, according to survivors, yes. But lately, there's been some rumors suggesting foul play.
What do the Mexican marine authorities have to say?
They started an investigation, but when the Iranian government showed no interest, the Mexicans didn't press matters. The Star of Iran became another forgotten sea casualty.
Well, obviously that's changed, or else you wouldn't have called.
C5 intercepted a phone conversation between the Iranian defense minister and Youssef Shaheen.
The Libyan arms dealer? I thought he was in prison for selling weapons to terrorists or something.
He was released early.
What about the phone call?
Shaheen asked Iran if they were interested in buying enough uranium-235 to make them a world nuclear power.
That's like asking a kid if it wants a candy bar.
Exactly. Shaheen wouldn't say where the uranium came from, or even if he actually had it. But C5 sources inside Iran believe it's linked to a large amount of uranium-235 that was stolen a few years ago from the now-defunct Soviet Union.
So your assumption is that the Star of Iran is the ship that smuggled out the uranium?
So you'd like us to dive in the wreck and see if the uranium's still in hold?
No. The government has hired the world's leading underwater investigator to do that.
That could only be John Hardy.
Good call, Ashley.
Well, if the guy is so good, what does he need us for? I mean, with the exception of Brett and Cat, we're not exactly any kind of competition for Shamu or Flipper.
If there is uranium aboard the Star of Iran, C5 is afraid that Shaheen or the Iranians might try to kill Hardy to stop him from finding it.
So why don't they just bring in the Navy? Nobody can protect them better than the SEALs.
Because the government doesn't want to cause an international incident over something that may end up to be a wild goose chase. The H.E.A.T team can pose as a private protection agency and still keep a low profile.
Where is Hardy now?
In your backyard. Look him up at Chico's Dive Boat Services. A boat's been rented under your name, Mike. And Hardy's sitting on it, waiting for you. Good luck.
Do you believe in curses?
Depends on the curse. If you're referring to yourself, I think pain in the butt would be a better description.
I meant the Star of Iran.
Is the ship really cursed?
That's right.
According to whom?
A Mexican salvage company. 2 of their divers died in freak accidents. A third was mysteriously killed in a car crash. Since then, the wreck was considered a curse, and no divers would go near it.
Does Mr. Hardy know about that?
From what I know about Mr. Hardy, a curse would not deter him.
We'll soon find out. I'm gonna round up Brett and Cat.
Dig up all you can on the stolen uranium, and find out as much as you can on Yusuf Shaheen and the Star of Iran.
Got it.
While Mike and I stayed behind to dig deeper into Shaheen's background, Brett, Cat, and Tommy went to guard Harding.
Well, I guess you must be my official nursemaids.
Guilty as charged.
To know each other?
Sort of. I'm John Hardy.
Cat, put it down.
This is Brett and I'm Tommy.
Well, it's a pleasure to know you. Come aboard.
Did you find out who these newcomers are?
The manager at Chico's Dive Boat Services said they rented the boat for sport diving.
Then why is John Hardy with them? It isn't like him to mix government business with pleasure.
Now, according to the salvage company records, the wreck's down about 17 fathoms.
102 feet. It's pretty deep. Workable.
How many dives are you gonna make?
2 a day till we cover the whole wreck.
And how much bottom time?
25 minutes per dive.
Perhaps your sources are mistaken, and Hardy's not diving on the Star of Iran.
Nonsense! My sources are impeccable. That's why we must make sure he doesn't find the uranium. If he does, I'll lose face with the buyers, as well as millions.
I'll be doing this with you?
Nope. Snorkeling in the bathtub as deep as I go on this one. Besides, you need someone to play Captain Bligh.
Fair enough. Then it's you and I.
Hey, don't forget about me. I'm an experienced diver.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. It's just that I'm superstitious about diving with women.
What do you mean?
Having a woman on a dive has always brought me bad luck. No offense. You'll just have to sit this one out.
What? No way.
I met a lot of great divers in the Navy. Cat can hold her own.
And I don't doubt that. But enough can go wrong on a dive like this without taking on any extra trouble.
This is crazy. Next you'll be telling me you believe in black magic. Brett?
I'm sorry, John. We've been hired to protect you.
Kat's part of the team. She stays.
As you wish. But she stays on board the boat. Otherwise, I don't dive. Period.
Here's where the vessel went down. And here, according to the salvage company guys, is where she now lies.
It's almost the same exact spot.
Yeah, but don't forget that was almost 3 years ago.
Well, could the vessel have moved?
Chances are, with currents and a certain amount of bottom shifting, a little. But unless there's been a major storm since she sank, she's probably still in the same area. Either way, we'll know soon enough tomorrow.
What do you got?
A whole lot of background material on Yusuf Shaheen.
Any photos?
Just this. I've got details on his terrorist connections, information on his trips to the former Soviet Union, and his interest in nuclear bombs.
Sounds like he's a definite candidate to steal the uranium-235.
He's no Omar Sharif, that's for sure.
Few men are, Michael.
What about the Star of Iran? Where did she go after she left the Soviet Union?
The logbook destination said Buenos Aires.
Well, didn't it arrive there?
For whatever reasons, it sailed to the Panama Canal, docked in Panama City. And this is the intriguing part. It stayed long enough to refuel, but it did not unload any cargo.
Probably because they didn't want the port authorities to come in and search the hold and find the uranium.
Makes sense. But what was she doing off the coast of Puerto Vallarta?
Good question. And why didn't she sail directly home to Iran?
Maybe Sharif figured if he docked the freighter in Iran, the government would move in and take all the uranium for free, and Shaheen would be left out in the cold.
If you're right, that means Shaheen probably intended to dock the vessel somewhere along the coast of Mexico, maybe even Puerto Vallarta.
Why don't you take a break?
Idiots. They really think that by not anchoring over the dive site that they'll fool me?
At least we now know they are not just sport divers. Think being anchored here is really gonna fool anybody?
Probably not. It's just a little less obvious parking out of the actual dive site.
Shall I order our divers to kill them?
Not yet. Their deaths would attract attention. Right now, that's the last thing we need. First, we must try to scare them off, make them think the wreck is cursed.
What if they won't scare?
Then we will have to kill them as we did the Mexican salvage divers. By accident, of course.
Rest easy, Mr. Hardy. Tommy and I promised to tell any passerby that we're just happy little sport divers.
Just knew I could count on you, Kat.
That's Ms. Pascal to you.
Seems I've upset the lovely lady.
Don't worry about Kat. Chips are down. She'll be the one there for you.
Somehow I just knew that.
The divers have just left to carry out your orders.
Excellent. Enough.
All set?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Okay, please.
radio our contact in Iran. Tell him to let the minister know that we'll soon have the uranium in our hands.
What if he says the government will not meet your price?
I will go elsewhere. Syria has already offered 50 million, and several other countries are anxious to put their bids in. Time is on our side, Habib. And just think, if the boiler hadn't exploded 3 years ago, and if the Star of Iran had not docked in Puerto Vallarta as planned, I would have sold the uranium for a measly $12 million.
Let's talk. You were a little rough on Hardy back there.
He deserved it, the jerk.
Well, that's not the point.
Oh? So what is?
You gotta keep your head.
Nice to see you aren't taking any sides.
Sides aren't the issue here. We're a team. And we're on a mission. And the success of the mission is all that counts. How many times in your training have you been taught that personal feelings don't matter?
So long as they aren't my personal feelings.
That's a cheap shot, Cat, and you know it. Ever since you've been on this Heat team, you haven't been treated any differently than anybody else.
Right. Until now.
Oh, bull. Listen, Hardy's job is to dive. Our job is to protect him. Now, if he decides to go down there with Red, and not you, right or wrong, that doesn't change a thing. Now, we're pros, and pros get the job done, right?
Right.
Sure you're okay? I could get you to the hospital and have that x-rayed.
No, it's just bruised, that's all. I owe you one.
I'll put it on your tab.
This is nothing to joke about, guys. Both of you could have been seriously hurt.
Yeah, but we weren't. So let's not make a big deal of it, okay? Otherwise, I really am gonna start thinking this wreck is cursed.
Forget cursed. Try booby-trapped.
I hate to say it, but I think you're right.
Shaheen's men?
So what do you think? Could have been deliberate?
It's possible. I didn't see any other divers down there, but...
That's not to say that they weren't around, hiding somewhere nearby.
Well, they could have rigged it, so that everything collapsed by remote control.
It's possible.
It's a little James Bondish to me.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, stuff's happening today that would make poor old 007 twist in his grave.
So next time we take more care, that's all.
Better than that. Why don't I go with you? 6 eyes are better than 4.
No.
But
I said no. Case closed.
Fine.
I better check in with Mike and Ashley.
Now, before you start in on me, remember, we have a deal. No women on the dive.
You don't have to take Cat along. Just lighten up.
I just don't believe in compromising my standards, that's all.
Nobody's asking you to. Just don't treat her like chopped liver.
I wasn't aware that's what I was doing.
Look, just give her a little respect. Like you would Brett or any other member of the team that you're working with. Don't treat her like a piece of scenery.
Tommy tells me I've been treating you like a piece of scenery. If that's the case, I never meant to. I'd like to apologize.
Accepted.
I also want to thank you for offering to dive with us. I do appreciate it.
But you haven't changed your mind,
I
right?
can't.
Why not?
Because I believe in the buddy system.
2 divers looking out for each other.
Right. And if you dive with Brett, that makes 3. That means one person has to look after 2 people, and I find that unacceptable.
So the circumstances aren't perfect. We just have to take better care, that's all.
No. I have too much respect for the ocean to want to do that. Especially in view of the fact that there may be some individuals out there that mean us no good. Understand? This isn't personal.
Well, too bad you couldn't have just told me that in the first place. Instead of hiding behind all those phony, superstitious, and women are unlucky routines.
Well, it's not a routine. It's my clumsy way of getting around the real reason why I won't dive with a woman.
And if I'm not going to dive, I think you owe me that reason.
Maybe I do. I lost my wife on a dive. It happened some time ago. Air hose broke, was fractured. Nobody really knows. By the time I got to her, so ever since I've avoided diving with a woman. Any woman. It brings back a memory.
I'm sorry.
And you do remind me of her. So can we be friends? We've got one more area in the wreck to check out. If the uranium's not there, then we can assume that this dive is over.
Assumption is the mother of all screw-ups, John.
It's true. But in this instance, my orders only cover the searching of the wreck. Unless I get new orders, then the dive is indeed over and we can go home. Let's suit up.
Hey, Tommy.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know who they were, but my guess is they work for Yusuf Shaheen.
Yeah, we'll make that definite, pal, because after you guys went in, Cat spotted a boat on the horizon.
Yeah, I checked it out with my high-powered scope. Guess who's watching us through binoculars? Shaheen.
They took off right before you came up.
Well, with those scooters, they could get here quite easily. It means I'll be back.
Well, why? They must know there's no uranium in the wreckage.
Yeah, but they also know we, like they may have figured out where it is.
You do?
Well, not quite, but we have a clue. There's an old World War II plane down near the wreck. Crashed after a failed air-sea rescue attempt. I know because the Navy had me check it out once. But back then, it was a few miles southwest of its present location.
We could have moved to the storm?
Yeah, a big one, like a hurricane.
We figure if the storm moved the plane, it may have moved pieces of the wreckage and the uranium. We can figure out which direction the storm was moving in.
You could pinpoint where the storm dumped the uranium. It makes sense.
All right, let's get in touch with Mike and Ashley. See if we can get a weather location.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Calvin hit Acapulco and Puerto Vallarta in July. It formed off the coast of Mexico, traveling north and then northeast.
Gotcha. Any other biggies in the last 5 years?
Gilbert, which was traveling basically in the same direction. There were several other big storms that year, but according to the weather boys, none as big as Calvin or Gilbert.
Good enough.
One other thing. Chrissy logged onto the International Maritime Records. Guess what she found? The Star of Iran was at the Soviet port of Narva at the same time as Shaheen. A coincidence? I don't think so.
I'll tell the guys. Thanks, Ashley. And we'll see you tonight when we get back. Bye.
Here's where the Star of Iran went down. And this is where it lies now. It's traveling in the northeastern direction like Calvin and Gilbert did. Here's where the uranium could be now.
Talk about looking for a needle in a haystack.
We'll have the underwater Geiger counter. That'll help.
So will a decent meal and a good night's sleep. Let's head this tub back home, Captain, sir.
Aye, aye, Mr. Christian, aye, aye.
Reflection, a map with no direction. I was lost in need of finding a perfect match and answer. The mystery's the answer to my head. My silver lining. Whoa, I feel strongly about you, and there's no cause to doubt you. 'Cause when I feel the same in my ain't that you? Oh, baby, you can be good for me, 'cause I can be good for you. Let's fall in love.
This woman must be special. She's the first one Hardy's shown any interest in since his wife drowned.
I'm impressed by your knowledge of the enemy.
Right now, I wish I knew a little more. Like whether Hardy has figured out where the uranium is.
Don't worry. He will never find it.
Never underestimate your enemy. Could prove fatal.
What if Hardy does find the uranium and tries to take it? May I...
Kill him. Kill them all.
You guys, be extra careful. Shaheen's gotta know we're onto him by now.
Yeah. So what's his next move?
I don't know. But bottom line is he wants to give us the deep six.
Damn, I wish John let you dive with him.
I'm gonna get my wetsuit on, just in case.
Yeah, that's good thinking.
I'm going in to find out what's going on down there.
Hope you know what you're doing.
I do.
Good luck.
Ashley, mission accomplished. Tell Mr. Smith we've got the uranium-235.
Nice going, Brett. What about Yusuf Shaheen?
He's got to still be on board his yacht. They took off once they saw we had the uranium.
I'll ask Mr. Smith to contact the local authorities. The Coast Guard can arrest Shaheen for attempted murder. They can hold him legally until the government connects him to the stolen uranium.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, I've got to thank you. I mean, I really couldn't have done this without you.
Just glad to be of help. If you're ever in this neck of the woods again, John, maybe we can do a little sport dive.
You know, I think I'd like that. You guys watch how you go. Here. Well, I guess it's the end of the road. I leave for Europe tomorrow. I don't suppose that...
What?
Cat, there's so much future for us. Well, that's assuming you ever want to see me again.
That tell you anything?
Tells me I'm an idiot if I walk away from here without you.
Sometimes we don't have a choice. I don't think either of us could give up what we're doing right now. And that's what it would take for us to be together.
Yeah. Oh, hell. Lady, you sure found my on switch.
Me too.
Well, till next time.
Till next time.
Mike, wait!
Hey, what's going on, sweetie?
I just heard from Mr. Smith.
Any news on Shaheen?
He's been indicted for stealing Russian uranium and trying to sell it on the black market.
So there really is a good ferry.
Wait, there's more. He's also been indicted for falsifying the logbook records of the Star of Iran and lying about its cargo. All those charges carry a pretty stiff sentence, so I think our Mr. Shaheen will be an old man by the time he sees the light of day again.
And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Chalk one up for the white hats.
That's what Mr. Smith said. But as I told him, this time it's really Brett, Cat, and Tommy that deserve all the credit. The rest of us did absolutely nothing.
You actually told him that?
Of course. I don't want credit that I don't deserve.
Ashley, old girl, you never cease to amaze me.
Old girl?
It's better than old lady.
The Mexican Riviera, an exotic paradise of beauty, money, and danger.
Michael's been shot.
Now, the team's deadliest enemy is back.
Your partner's a little bit pale these days.
And while Mike fights for his life,
You have me at a disadvantage.
Ashley faces Strake in a fight only one can survive.
One flick of my finger and you're all tackle me.
The heat is on the next Acapulco Heat.